Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. So, three little snippets before we start this video. Number one, actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to quickly zoom in a little bit. Second stream. So, number one, we closed the watch list that we closed the two swing trades that we've had open for over 3 weeks. Huge news. So definitely check out this morning watch list video if you have not already, because I break down the whole entire swing trades in that video. Also, right off the bat, after we closed the swing trades, we were able to do a really nice little balanced day trade, pretty small percent gainer, 1.19%, but a clean little $115 profit, so can never really complain on that too much. And then the last thing that I quickly want to bring up is that Bitcoin is breaking down from this ascending channel that we talked about on Monday. We also broke down with volume. You can kind of see it down here. And right now we're approaching this support line right here, this green support zone around $8,000. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had a little bounce back up, tested this trend line, and then continued downwards a little bit. However, during this morning watch list and on Monday, you guys can check out that video. It was my last video posted. I kind of talk about some of my thoughts on the mid to long term with Bitcoin, so I'm not going to really go into it on this video. In this video, obviously, we want to talk about how is Bitcoin taxed, and is there a way to buy and sell Bitcoin without paying taxes on it? And yes, there is, but it's a little bit more complicated than you might think. And this is primarily for U.S. citizens. Obviously, it could apply to other countries depending on how they regulate cryptocurrencies and what kind of equivalent of this tax kind of safety structure, retirement fund you guys have in other countries. So let's just dive right into it really quickly. It shouldn't take too long. But overall, in 2014, there was, let me see if I could actually just zoom in on this just a little bit. Okay, so in 2014, there was that was the last time that Bitcoin or the IRS really commented on, what is virtual currency, how do we tax it, and that was the big debate on property. It's taxed as property, and you guys can learn a lot more about that on your own time. I really won't dive into it too heavily on here, but that was kind of that's old news. That's already been decided. But some of these key points that just came out in this frequently asked questions on virtual currencies transactions from the IRS, they just came out with a bunch. I think it was 43 FAQs. You guys can check it out on your own time. This was the big recent update. They haven't really done much since 2014, and there is a few things that I found pretty interesting, one of which I actually didn't really know, so I want to share a few of the big takeaways with you guys. And the first thing here is that hard forks and airdrops are treated the same. Well, okay, yeah, they're treated the same, but the way they're treated is once you get that currency, that is when it's actually taxed. So that's when it's a realized gain. I didn't know that. I thought it was when you sold it. So basically, let's say you own, I don't know, like Bit or BNB coin, right, from Binance. And since you own BNB coin, you get some airdrop new currency that they have, right? And all of a sudden, this new currency, you have 1,000 coins, right? And let's say that coin is trading at $1, so that means you made an instant profit of $1,000, right? And you don't even have to sell that to have those gains realized. Those gains are realized according to the IRS, which means you have to pay taxes on those $1,000 new coins valued at the market value at $1. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that's the open, the exact open market value. It probably is. Could also be the daily close. I would have to look more into that. I could leave if you guys know more about that, just leave a comment below, or if you have a question, I could always look at that up. I didn't really consider it, but I just know it's the fair market value of that day. I'm not sure if it's the open or the close, but that's really something to consider. I didn't really know that. I thought it was when you sold it. So just like with the hard fork that happened with BTC not too long ago, when Bitcoin Cash forked from Bitcoin, and then a lot of the Bitcoin holders got Bitcoin Cash, that was actually the day it was taxed or that you should have put it into your accounting, that this is how much you owe, and if you pay quarterly taxes, for example, that would have been a good time to pay it. So to me, that's really interesting. I didn't really know about that, so I just wanted to share it with you guys. The next thing is, so hard forks and airdrops, they're the same setup. The next thing is, if you are unable to specifically identify your cryptocurrencies, so you don't really know when you bought and when you sold, you just kind of go with the basic FIFO system, the most generally accepted accounting principle, FIFO. That's how you guys probably are already documenting it. And if you don't really know what that is, there's what's the alternative, like LIFO, what's the difference, what's the best thing? There's a few crypto accounting softwares. The one I use on point number 4 is CoinTracking.info, and I have a whole entire video on how I use it and how I use it for my not just accounting in terms of I know where all my crypto is, because that tracks everything across all exchanges, but I also what forms do I take in and what do I report? How does that report it? How does it look? So I talk about all that. But basically just, know the IRS by default counts it as FIFO unless you have some really good accounting and I'm sure some really good reasons why you'd want to do it in a different way. So just know that. I think point 2 and 3 are really the home runners here. The hard forks and airdrops is really something to consider. I did not know that, and I'm sure a lot of people maybe this has gone over their heads a little bit. Okay, so there is one really cool thing I did want to talk about, and you could actually store your Bitcoin in a Roth IRA, which means you won't be taxed on that Bitcoin, or I believe any other cryptocurrency as well, but let's just use Bitcoin for example, because obviously the IRS does talk about virtual currency. Bitcoin is one of those virtual currencies, so I'm sure this applies to everything. So if you guys don't know what a Roth IRA is, it's basically a, how would you describe it? It's a retirement fund that basically you set up for yourself, and every year you can donate to it, or not donate to it, contribute to it up to $6,000 per year, and that's a new regulation. Before it was $5,500 per year. So every year you can put $6,000 into this fund. So this is your Roth IRA, and that basically means this. Oh, that's after tax money as well. So you pay taxes on it. Now you have your money left over after you pay taxes. Now you can contribute to that Roth IRA. And the reason you would want to do that is because this IRA grows tax-free as long as you don't take the money back out. And you won't have to pay any taxes on that ever, actually, but here's the catch: you can only take that money out when you are 59.5 years old. So I kind of talk about that a little bit down here, so I'll scroll down a little bit. So 6K max contributions, you can only cash out when you're 59.5 years old. Otherwise, there's a 10% penalty on top of your regular taxation. So a good example of that is, let's say you are taxed at a 30% bracket. You've contributed, let's say, $10,000 to the Roth IRA already, and your Roth IRA, let's say, went to $12,000. Now you want to take that money out. Well, what happens? So you take that $10,000. Your first $10,000 is the principal you already put in. You can take that out tax-free, but now there's $2,000 more, and that $2,000 is going to be taxed at 30%, which is $600. So now you have to pay $600 on that. That's your ordinary tax bracket, whatever. But now you have to pay another 10%, so $200 on that, because you took out that money ahead of time. You took out that money before you were 59.5 years old. So that's kind of the downside to the Roth IRA contributions. But what I really like about it is you can always take out your principal. So that's pretty cool. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. I mean, obviously, you should be able to take out your principal. Principal is the money you already allocated, is the money you already contributed to the fund, and I think that's just a no-brainer. Obviously, you can take that back out because you already paid. That's after-tax money. So I think that's completely fine, and I definitely understand the 10% penalty. I mean, this fund is trying to force you to invest into the market and put money aside for your retirement. That's why it's a Roth IRA. You believe in future appreciation. That's really the big takeaway with a Roth IRA. Now here's the big problem. So you can't just go to, so I have my Roth IRA actually at TD Ameritrade, and I could put some stocks in there, I could put some REITs in there, I could put some bonds in there, I could do a lot of stuff. But TD Ameritrade, I can't just buy Bitcoin on TD Ameritrade. Now they do have futures, but that's a whole different discussion, and I can't just put futures in my Roth IRA. Well, I could, but in terms of long-term holding, that's a whole different discussion to really go down. What if I just wanted to put, also these futures are not physically backed. I mean, this is just a really long discussion. So what if I just want to put my Bitcoin that I own into my Roth IRA and hold it there? Well, first of all, I can't just put my own Bitcoin in there. That's a problem. So I have to buy that Bitcoin from a third party first. And to even do any of that, I can't do it myself. I have to set up a limited liability company or an LLC first, and then create it and then turn it into a self-directed IRA. And then I need to find a custodian, so somebody like TD Ameritrade that allows, what are they called now? So they would be the IRA administrator, and then they would administer that LLC. And I don't know, there's a lot of moving parts, and I actually find it extremely interesting. It's not exactly something you just click a few buttons and you can set it up. It would take a little bit more to dive into, and I think it would be a fun little pet project to actually go ahead and do this. I don't know if I'm blindly just going to be doing it today or this week or anything, but if you guys are interested in this, let me know. Leave a comment below if you would like to actually see me set up a self-directed IRA. I'm not entirely sure if I'll do it, but I'm definitely considering it. I think it's a really good idea, and if you believe in the underlying asset, aka Bitcoin, it would be a really interesting thing to do, even if you only dedicated a small portion of your IRA into Bitcoin. Obviously, you know, is it worth the amount of work? These are all just a bunch of considerations that you're gonna have to think about. And on top of that, you know, what if you want to sell all your Bitcoin, reallocate to something else? So I don't know. There's a few things to consider. Actually, if you want to reallocate to something else, I don't want to go on tangents, you could actually do that in your self-directed IRA. You just couldn't withdraw that money from the self-directed IRA. So it's interesting. I think that'd be a fun topic to go into. But yeah, you could, in theory, invest in the USA, Bitcoin tax-free. You would be limited to $6,000 annual contribution. So something really cool to think about and to maybe dive into. Let me see if there is anything else to discuss. Actually, let me just go back to the full camera screen. So not really, that basically wraps it up. I hope you guys found some interest in this video, and if you guys, again, if you would like to see me implement a self-directed IRA, go ahead and leave a comment below, and also let me know, you know, are you guys investing in Bitcoin long term? How are you planning for taxes? What are you guys using for accounting software? I'd like to know all these things. Leave a comment below. If you guys have any questions, you can also email me at alex@enzo.com. So make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon too, so you won't miss any of these upcoming videos that we talk about Bitcoin or the you know, taxation on Bitcoin, especially with this self-directed IRA. I think it could be some good fun. All right, guys, that's everything for this video. Stay safe and make some awesome trades. I will see you guys in an upcoming video. Until next time, ciao, ciao.